everyone, it's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I am thrilled to introduce to you an extraordinary weekend event happening right here in Miami, Florida on August 3rd and 4th. It's none other than the second annual Forbidden Conscious Awards weekend. After the tremendous success of last year's event with over 1,200 attendees from around the globe, we knew we had to make this year's event even more spectacular. On Saturday, we have a captivating conference lined up featuring world-renowned speakers such as Muhammad Ibrahim, Merkaba 13, Robert Grant, Billy Carson, and a women's panel hosted by Elizabeth Carson. Following the conference, we'll set sail for a VIP yacht cruise at sunset where you'll have the chance to mingle with your favorite nominees and celebrity guests, all hosted by yours truly, Billy Carson. On Sunday, August 4th, kicks off with a Forbidden Knowledge book publishing signing event, followed by the highly anticipated second annual Forbidden Conscious Awards. This is a red carpet affair, so come dressed to impress. Remember, last year we surprised a lucky guest with an Audi A4 during the awards, and this year we're upping the ante with a chance to win a Mercedes-Benz. So make sure you secure your tickets early. This event is sure to sell out quickly. I cannot wait to see each and every one of you there for what promises to be an unforgettable weekend. Now, drinking out of a glass cup because drinking out of plastic is no good for you. All right, so we're going to talk about financial therapy first, changing your money beliefs, which is going to change your life, okay? And so what I found in dealing with money and dealing with people, educating people about money, I noticed that the belief system was the main thing holding people back from achieving. Hello, Billy Carson here, Forbidden Knowledge. Welcome to the Woke Doesn't Mean Broke Financial Literacy Workshop, held here exclusively on Forbidden Knowledge TV. Going to do a little bit of housekeeping here to make sure all the technology is working properly, as well as give everyone just a couple of minutes to get into this live stream. We are broadcasting live right now on Forbidden Knowledge TV. And so we just want to make sure everything is functioning and running before we dig deep into this amazing content. Their highest potential financially. And so I talked to people and I'd ask them, basic questions about their finances. And I noticed a couple things happening. The first thing is people will start to get a little offended at some of the questions, even though they were very mundane, general questions that a person typically should be able to answer outright and forthright. But the reason why I found that they were beginning to get a little agitated and frustrated was simply because of one main thing. They didn't know, or they hadn't prepared, or they had no clue. So I started seeing this trend. I started doing my own social experiment, so to speak. This is years ago. And I saw this trend of financial illiteracy, financial ignorance. And I would talk to people from my old neighborhood, some of the ones I can get in touch with and talk to, and just in casual conversation, I'd be talking about things like life insurance policies or compounded interest savings accounts or home businesses and tax write-offs. And I found that the majority of them had no clue what I was talking about and why I was even talking about it. And keep in mind, now, we're all adults now with families, the majority of us. And we have our own prosperity to think of. And I started recognizing that a lot of people weren't putting prosperity ahead of themselves, that they were just living day to day and leaving the future problems and ills of the future to their loved ones and let them fight and defend for themselves. So I said to myself, we've got to start to work to change the beliefs about money and how money works and understanding this financial matrix a lot better. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. So financial therapy is a growing field that focuses on the emotional and psychological roots of financial behaviors that create financial stress. Now, you have to understand something. Financial stress is one of the largest reasons, actually, not one of them, the largest reason for divorce and breakups between relationships in the world. Financial stress. That's where a lot of it begins. Yes, people cheat and do all these other things, but the number one reason This is a case study. The number one reason is financial stress. By addressing the beliefs, thoughts, and habits related to your financial life, it's possible to bring about real changes. That's what we're doing here today. The source of the ineffective belief doesn't matter, but recognizing and addressing harmful money beliefs is a very important, is very important to your financial progress. Beliefs create and limit your reality. So we know that everything is based on your belief system, which is one of the reasons why people tell me all the time after they study a lot of my content and information, I tore down their belief system, right? Their belief system in other areas of life. Well, I'm going to do the same in finances. A lot of people have been living in the financial matrix, operating and running purely on software programming and not understanding that this is a matrix that can be reprogrammed, and it can be reprogrammed by you specifically, by you making a few changes in your beliefs. So, realizing that our actions, feelings, and behavior are the result of our own images and beliefs gives us the level of psychology and has always been needed for changing your personality. That's Maxwell Maltz. So let's look at this. How beliefs create and limit your reality. Okay, beliefs influence your level of self-confidence. That's the first thing. Remember, I was talking to people and right away they would get offended about finances. As soon as I start talking to them about their personal finances, they would start to shun it a little bit and get a little offended, a little angry in some ways, you know. Self-confidence, a lot to do with that. It affects your ability to learn and apply new financial habits. Confidence also impacts your ability to pursue financial goals and persevere. So if you are a person that is lacking financial confidence in yourself and confidence in your level of knowledge about finances, what tends to happen to a person when they lack those kind of things in any area of their life, they tend to shun away from it. They tend to hide from it. They tend to pretend like they can't see it, or they pretend like they don't even know it's there. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem that we have as a culture on the planet. And so what happens is, because of that, we try to put it out of sight, out of mind, cognitive dissonance, all right? I'm just going to go to work and get my paycheck and just focus on that because that's all I can focus on right now because I got so much stuff coming down on me. I can't think of anything else. This is a big problem. And we have to change our behavior and change our confidence levels, our confidence in ourselves. Heck, it takes a lot if you're on this video right now, I don't know if you really truly understand the power of the blessing that has been bestowed upon you, not to be on this video with me, but to just be at the stage in your life where you actually are on this video and watching it. Think of the gambit of things that you had to go through in your entire life that could have prevented you from even being able to press a button or log in or open up or sign in to even an account to even watch this video. To even be alive at this exact moment, you had to overcome numerous obstacles and potential life-threatening situations just to be here at this exact moment in time and intersect with me on my reality tunnel. So it's a blessing just to even be here. We have to understand that we have to have confidence in ourselves. We have to take advantage and savor every moment because the next moment isn't even guaranteed. You know, we all have this hourglass with the sand at the top floating down through the middle, right? And then it fills up at the bottom. The bottom is the past. The middle is all we have right now. That's where we are right now in this live. We're live in the middle part of that hourglass right now. The top, the sand at the top, nobody on this video knows how much sand is at the top of that hourglass. Not one of us. We could be on our last few grains of sand right now, or we can have a ton of more sand to go. And as age doesn't even matter. We don't know how much sand. Just yesterday, a Pittsburgh Steelers football player came down to Florida to go practice with his team and for off-season practice. He broke down on the highway, got out of his car, and got ran over by a truck, 25 years old. Now, anybody would have thought he had his whole life ahead of him, right? But guess what? He didn't, because he didn't know that the sand in the top of his hourglass was almost expired. See, so we don't know. So we have to make the most of every moment. Confidence impacts your ability to pursue financial goals and persevere. You have to gain confidence in yourself. To be here, you had to have confidence just to even get this account, log in, and watch this video. So you took the first step. Beliefs alter how you process information. Information that is contrary to your belief is quickly discarded and ignored. We know this, right? This is why when I talk sometimes about religion to people and try to show them the difference between religion and spirituality, if somebody's a real religious zealot, they may try to ignore my information or repel it or rebuke it because what I'm telling them in the facts that I present break down or tear down their belief system. And because of that, it's discarded or ignored almost instantaneously. They put up a wall right away. People do the same thing with finances. As soon as you start trying to teach them and tell them about finances, how they should be operating, a lot of the times people will put a wall up, especially in what I've called the conscious community. We've been some weird kind of way programmed to believe that if you're supposed to be spiritually awakened, that you're supposed to not want money, not need money for anything, not worry about finances, not worry about the future, not worry about future generations. You're supposed to just live moment to moment and be happy and smell all the roses. You're supposed to do that too. But at the same time, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to maximize our life in whatever matrix that we are operating in. And right now, there's a financial matrix on this planet. And ignoring it and playing dumb is not going to fix the planet. We have to do one thing and one thing immediately. We have to gain financial literacy so that we ourselves, being the 99% of the world, can finally band together and have enough financial means, financial knowledge to see through all the smoke screens that they present to us, all the fake information that they present to us, and also to put people with means, financial means that are conscious in positions of power in companies, corporations, governments, and start to move and bend and wield the matrix to our will. Because the people have the power, not the minority, which is the small amount of people running this planet. The people on this planet, the 8.5 billion people on this planet, we have the power. But we keep relinquishing it because we keep trying to be set into the program that they set upon us. And the program is pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty damn good programming. I mean, this has been around for a very long time, but it's time for us to begin to wake up and understand that there's another way in order for us to create the prosperity that we need to supersede their system. We need to be able to have financial literacy. Okay. Beliefs create limits. It's almost impossible to rise above your beliefs. If you believe that you'll never be wealthy, guess what? You're right. So changing your belief is crucial. Now, some people say, well, I don't want to be wealthy because I got to pay a lot of taxes and all this other kind of crazy stuff. It's not about you. See, people keep focusing on the word wealth and rich, thinking that it's a bad word, but it's not. Those words, if you understand them properly, they mean legacy. And if you use it properly, it means legacy, right? So, when somebody told me the other day, I just want to focus on myself and just work every day. And if I don't have any money, I don't really care. This person has kids. This person actually has kids. So I'm saying to myself, interesting. So I sent this person a message. I said, hey, do you understand that it's not about you, and your personal goals in life in terms of finances? It's about being financially stable, but also building a legacy for your children to give them an upstart, give them a head start, give them a stepping stool to get on instead of everybody having to start from -0 every single time. That's like a generational curse. And that person, fortunately, they understood what I was trying to say and didn't repel it. They were like, it's interesting. You know what? You're right. It's not about the money. This whole video is not about money. This whole video is about buying your freedom. This entire workshop is about how to financially understand how to manipulate this matrix so that you can buy your freedom. And what do I mean by that? Freedom is, you know what? I'm going to go on this vacation and I'm not going to check in with anybody. I'm not going to wait 2 years to build up 2 weeks of vacation time. I'm going to go ahead on X month and X day. I'm getting out of here and I'm going to go take this vacation because I need it. It means that when something happens, that a little bit of a situation, a small catastrophe, that you don't have to worry about calling Peter, Jane, and Paul and borrowing money from each one of them just to get by to the next month because you had a car broke down, a transmission went out, your roof has a hole in it and started leaking into the house, whatever. What it means is you just go, oh man, I got a little situation. Okay, no big deal. I'm ready for this. And then you make the right transfers in your accounts and you take care of it. And don't put any stress on somebody else's life. You're not calling up Peter, Paul, Jane, Paul, your mom, your uncle, your sister, your brother, whoever it is, and putting stress on them to have to tell you no or reluctantly tell you yes. Okay? It's about that. It's about when your kids have a situation arise and come up. I raised 5 kids. 5. They're all adults now. But let me tell you something. Raising 5 kids at one time, I don't know how in the heck anybody can do that these days with the way that the majority of people are earning their money and living. I mean, back then it was even hard. In the late 90s and early 2000s. And so I'm thinking, wow. When every day there's a situation, one of the kids had a problem every single day. There was a problem that needed money. Fortunately for me, I was like, okay. I wasn't happy all the time about it, but stuff happens. And so, having kids is a consistent outpouring of money, whether you like it or not. And so if you're financially struggling, you're just making it literally check to check. You're not ready and prepared for anything that's coming down the pipeline. That's not good for you or your kids. It puts a lot of trauma on your kid. That trauma lasts a lifetime in that kid until they become adults. And guess what happens? A lot of times they repeat that same lack of financial literacy and they keep the generational curse going. All right. Beliefs alter results. If you believe that money changes people for the worse, you won't take the steps to accumulate significant savings for your retirement. Thinking that you don't need to worry about your retirement, thinking that you don't need to worry about sitting down and relaxing in it, that's creating a lot of stress in your life. Believe it or not. You could pretend like you don't care, but I guarantee you one thing, wait until that final day when they tell you, you've been here long enough. We got to bring somebody younger in. You're too old for this job. And then you got to go sit down and you got to collect that little tiny itty bitty check that they might give you. We don't even know when that's going to cancel out. And you got to live off of that, those scraps. I knew they're gone now. They're passed away. Bless the dead. Elderly people that were living off of Social Security, that were eating cat food and dog food because it was 29 and 39 cents a can. This is the kind of stuff that happens in real life and it's still happening right now today. So you need to be prepared for these kind of situations and prepared for these changes in your life that are going to come if you have that much sand left in your hourglass, right? And then not only just for yourself, but what about for future prosperity? What about for future generations? Whether you have kids or not, what about other loved ones, other systems that you may set up? What about putting together a trust fund that helps a particular group of people or a particular community or something, so that you live on through these actions? We have to think about all these things. We can't keep thinking that money is evil and that money is no good and worrying about wealth is stupid and all these. We have to erase these concepts from our consciousness because it's all been programmed into us to believe that. Why would they do that? Because guess what? If the 1% of the people are making all the money and the other 99% of the people are just getting by, they keep control and power over you. This is why in school, they teach you the most minimal information about economics and actually how to sustain yourself, how to manage this financial matrix, what to do, what not to do. It's all marginalized. It's all basic. Why? Because they know that a small percentage of the people that go through these classes will dig deeper and find the little loopholes and the secrets and all the other information. And then the majority of the people will not, and that they will be just stuck in an employment trap for the rest of their lives. And they will be they will be drained by energy vampires and suck the life out of them. And by the time they get a chance to even want to do anything with their life in terms of having fun, they're so old they can't even enjoy it anymore. I see it all the time. How beliefs create and limit your reality. Your beliefs affect your thoughts, which affect your actions, which ultimately create your life circumstances. This is a big problem that we have. Beliefs are really, really powerful stuff. You may have seen a meme that I made a long time ago that had an elephant. It's actually a true story. The elephant was chained to a little tiny spike in the ground, a little tiny spike, big giant elephant, circus elephant. Well, the circus tent caught on fire. Everybody fled. The elephant, in his mind, thought that chain and that little spike, which he could have just lifted his foot and pulled right out of the ground without any effort at all, in his mind, he had a limiting belief that he was chained and he couldn't walk away. He couldn't leave. Well, the elephant burned down with the tent, died in that tent of fire. Because why? His limiting belief made him think that he was locked into that and there was nothing he can do to escape. We see this every single day in the average person's life. Okay, these beliefs are really, really powerful, and they're going to create your life circumstances. Whatever you believe is what you attract. If you believe that it's hard to make money, if you believe that it's impossible to build a legacy, if you believe that you'll never be rich, if you believe that you'll never be, forget rich, financially abundant, just having what you need when you need it to be so that everything is taken care of. How about that? If you don't believe any of that stuff, if you're always wondering what you're going to be doing when you get your paycheck and how much money you're going to be short, who you can go borrow and ask for money, if you're in that mind state, you're going to attract more of that. You have to switch your minds. You have to flip the way you think about things. Your belief system is really, really important. There's a lot of things that I do in business over the years. And some of the things that the company doesn't even have the money for yet. But I will, after making an educated decision and having confidence, remember from page 1, confidence in myself, I will pull the trigger on something, knowing damn good and well there's no money there yet to take care of that responsibility yet. But the confidence in myself is there. And I know that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And because I jump off of that cliff and I spread my wings, guess what, guys? 99% of the time, I fly. And that's the kind of confidence you have to have in yourself. Now, it's not based off of a lack of research, and it's not based off a lack of knowledge and information, because you always have to make educated decisions. But what I'm saying is, a lot of the times you have to make those kind of decisions, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to take a jump off that cliff. You got to spread your wings, because if you don't, you already know that's going to happen. You're going to crash and burn, and then the wolves are going to devour you at the bottom of that cavern. So that gives you an extra incentive to keep those wings spread and keep flying. And you'll find a way, because you're focusing on finding a way. And because you're focusing on finding a way, the universe unfolds in incredible ways and allows things to really happen for you. Whereas the other belief system, the closed-minded belief system, keeps negative things, catastrophes, problems, issues, drama, trauma coming up so frequently, you can't even come up for air and breathe. You feel like you're drowning. But that's because you're keeping yourself in that same cycle without you even realizing it. Okay? Changing your beliefs can be the most powerful way to alter your life. Altering your beliefs changes your entire cycle. It's all about altering the cycle. Changing the loop. Changing the loop that you're in from a negative loop to a positive loop. And then separating yourself from a lot of the people that have the negative loops. If people are coming to you and bugging you consistently and complaining to you about money consistently and talking negatively about money consistently and talking about how poor and broke they are and talking about how many bills are due and they can't, get away from them immediately. And I mean immediately. You know why? Because that kind of mindset and that kind of trauma and drama, it's contagious. That light wave energy that's leaving their skull is being absorbed by a fractal of that is being absorbed by your brain and your consciousness. It's downloading into your body and it's altering your own reality tunnel. I escape people that complain, whine consistently. I block people who call me with complaints and problems all the time. I warn them, and if they do it again, I put them on block. I block them. I got 300 or 400 people blocked on my phone, not because I'm angry at them, not because I don't love them, because they never have anything positive to say. And I told them, don't call me with negative information all the time, or you're going to get blocked. And then they do it one more time, blocked. I surround myself with as much tranquility as I possibly can. 100% tranquility, impossible. But for whatever I can control, I'm going to make sure it's as tranquil as I possibly can have it, okay? Because my peace is one of the most important things, because the peace allows me to think, allows me to process, and allows me to believe in myself and build my own reality. Beliefs are the core of financial challenges. Enhanced beliefs lead to enhanced thoughts, actions, and results. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you now. But for me to do that, I have to have my tranquility and I have to have my peace. Get away from people that are always having bad luck. Get away from people that are always in bad situations. Run. I don't walk. I run away from those people. I escape them. I didn't keep contacting me, sending me messages, messenger messages, DMs, WhatsApp messages, right? I got a guy right now sending me 1 million WhatsApp messages every 5. I just put him on mute today. I said, I can't take it no more. Put him on mute. Every time I turn around, he's got a problem. I can't do it, guys. Escape these people as fast as you possibly can. I don't care who it is. Mother, sister, uncle, brother, friend, whoever it is, get away. Attacking your negative behaviors is a less effective route to success. Instead, focus on your beliefs. Build and develop your positive belief system, and then Focus on that, and you'll see your realities change. How beliefs create and limit your reality and how to address it. Make a comprehensive list of your beliefs regarding money, both positive and negative. This is something that I do. So you get a good old-fashioned sheet of paper. I don't have one that's blank here. And you draw a line down the middle. And on one side, you're going to put, at the top, you put beliefs about money. Okay? On one side, you're going to put all the things about money that are negative in your mind. Right? On the right side, all the things you think are positive about money. And be truthful with yourself. The most important thing about this exercise is to be totally honest with yourself. Okay? Addressing your beliefs is the most effective way to create a new financial future. With more supportive beliefs, it will be much easier to create the habits necessary to learn, save, and accumulate wealth. Now, wealth means something for everybody, something different for everybody, I should say. For me, at where I am in my life and the amount of people that I help, I need extraordinary levels of income because I'm responsible literally for hundreds of people. If I stop right now doing what I do and I close down shop and go away, then hundreds of people will have problems paying their bills and buying diapers for their baby and feeding their families and paying their car payments. Because why? Because people rely on me, because I generate a lot of income for a lot of sources. Okay. A lot of people are working with me and working for me. So it's important. And then I help a lot of people on a larger scale than the average person. That requires thousands and thousands of dollars. For some people, it's just their immediate family, maybe a husband and wife or a partnership and a couple of kids. And maybe they're living within their means. And their lifestyle is very basic, but they just want to make sure all their bills are paid on time. Their credit is good and that the kids are taken care of. They want to put them in college, they can put them in college. If they want to put them in any kind of schooling after high school, they can put them in that. If they want to invest into a business with their children, they can do that. They just want to make sure that their future is set. They don't need millions of dollars, but they need to be financially independent and financially set to where all their needs are met, right? That's really, really important. So, these are the kind of things you have to understand when you're trying to make sure that you are addressing your financial future, your belief system, and how all of your actions are going to directly affect yourself and the world and the people that you love. The unreal is more powerful than the real because nothing is as perfect as you can imagine it, because it's only intangible ideas, concepts, beliefs, fantasies that last. Stone crumbles, wood rots, people, well, they die. But things as fragile as a thought, a dream, a legend, they can go on and on. So we're talking about the ability for fractals of your consciousness to be passed on. So the information that you learn in a workshop like this can then be downloaded, digested, discerned, understood, and then you can pass this information on to someone else, making this information virtually immortal. What it takes to achieve a state of financial health. Financial health isn't just how much money you make. There are people earning over $1 million each year with desperate financial challenges. So, it's not about the money. Again, I'm going back to it. It's not about the amount of money. You guys have to understand this. It's about financial freedom. It's about the freedom, right? Think about that. There are people earning over $1 million every year that are still suffering financially. I know quite a few of them, actually. Some of them are athletes, okay? Some of them are in the entertainment industry. And for whatever reason, they weren't guided properly. They didn't gain any financial literacy. And so they did not understand how to separate their money into different streams and create multiple streams of income, investments, and everything else. And because of that, they're struggling right now. And so, even that money that they're getting isn't enough to cover all their expenses. There are multiple components to financial prosperity and stability, which we're going to go over some today. And do you have all the financial components under control? Take a look at what they are. Okay, here's some of your financial components. Budget. A budget is necessary for everyone. Know how much you're spending, where and why, and who you're spending it with. Budgeting is super duper important. I'm not the type of person that likes to log into my bank account every 5 minutes and check what money's in the account, but I do operate off of a budget. Okay, and a budget, you can't even run a small business without a budget or a large business without a budget. You have to have a budget. You have to understand What percentage of money is going out towards intangibles, tangibles, appreciating assets, depreciating assets, right? What money is going out towards frivolous things? So you have to understand it so you can control the way that your money is being managed. You can find your weak spots and you can make the adjustments, and you can live within your means, right? That's the way. And if you want to get something that's outside of your budget, then it will direct you to have to figure out a way to create some additional income to cover that object or cover that thing or whatever the case may be. So budgeting is number one. An income that surpasses your bills. Financial woes happen when bills outpace the income. Increase income and lower your bills. This is how you live within your means, okay? A lot of people think it sounds like it's so simple, but for whatever reason, it's not for a lot of people. A friend of mine came to me and told me that, a place where they were living was increasing the rent by $400. Now, every year when you're renting, if you understand renting, typically the rent goes up every year or two. It'll go up some money. It's pretty standard, right? And so because of that, you need to understand if you're renting and you don't plan on owning anytime soon, if you're not, that's not your ultimate goal. Some people don't want to own a property, but if you're renting, you have to understand that rent goes up. It never stays the same. Very rarely are you in a situation where your rent will never go up. And so because of that, you have to understand that your income needs to go up. So if your income isn't going up and your rent's going up, how in the hell are you going to pay your rent? Think about that for a minute. So even though people know this basic concept, the majority of people still don't get it right. They still literally don't get it right. I have a number, okay, that I have for how much money I have liquid cash available and investment capital available, money in investments that's available. In other words, I can at any moment I can cash in those investments. At any moment I can go to the bank or transfer those funds out of one account to another if I needed to. And there's a number. I have a number, and it's a pretty high number. And if I ever start getting close to that number, I start hustling a little harder on other things because I got to get that. I got to drive that number back up. I have a base cap that can't go any lower than that. Otherwise, I'm not on my game. You need to set that limit. You need to develop liquid assets available and also investments that you can also cash out if need be. Okay, that when you know that what that number is for you, everybody's number is different. You got to find that out when you do your budget. I like to have at least 6 months worth of income available in case something happens. In other words, I don't even want to say it because I don't like speaking things into existence, but something will prevented me potentially from being able to work, or I took some time off for 6 months. Well, guess what? Every single month, I can maintain everything that I have without losing anything, without cutting back one iota for 6 months straight. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We have to be able to do. Okay. And you have to make sure that whatever your bills are, that your income is at least 3 times the amount of your bills. And now I know it sounds like, oh man, well, that's what you got to learn financial literacy for. So you can create your own multiplier and you can develop that extra cushion that you'll need. An emergency fund. Life is neither perfect nor predictable. Sooner or later, unexpected expenses will occur. I told you, I raised 5 kids. Unexpected expenses happen every single day. Every day they needed money. Every day they needed more money. I don't know what these parents are doing. People that are working at the grocery store and the restaurants and stuff. I don't know what they're doing to help these kids. I mean, I know back then I was okay, so I was fortunate. But how in the world can somebody living on $20,000 a year even handle this kind of pressure? I don't even know. Now I know why there's so much PTSD and mental and financial trauma out here on these streets, because there's not enough income to go around if you don't know what you're doing. All right. But emergency funds are very, very important. You have to have an emergency fund and a minimal amount of debt. Now, that's important. We're going to cover that too. I make sure that my debt is extremely, extremely low. It's typically no more than 3%. 3% of the total amount of credit that I have is out at any given time. Even if I take a card and max it, let's say I got a card that I'm buying something, right? And it's $20,000. Well, I already know if I'm swiping that $20,000 on that card before the month and before that card payment is due, right before that card payment is due, because it's all on different days, that 20 grand is back on that account. I'm not going to go into another month with 20 grand in debt on a card. I only swipe the card because it's easier than, you can't really go get cash anymore. Nobody's taking cash, so you got to swipe a card, right? You need that leverage to do that, to be able to do it. But I'm not going to do it, number one, if I can't afford it. Number two, if just because it's, I think I got a credit card with somebody else's money and I can go have fun. I'm putting the money back. My debt never goes past 3%. Typically, it's usually hovers around 1% debt per month. Doesn't mean I'm not using credit. I'm using a lot of credit, but it means also that I'm paying it down before the bills do. Okay, very, very important. Spending. It's also easy to spend more than you make. Do you like to purchase items that are out of your income bracket? A lot of people do. All right. I know this stuff sounds basic. I'm starting from the beginning here because there's a lot of people that need to hear this. But buying a whole bunch of stuff that we know we can't afford, a whole bunch of clothes. Let me tell you guys a secret, man. I would tell you guys, I just started buying more suit jackets in 2022. In 2022, I was on over 60 TV shows with 2 suits, 8 shirts, and I think I had like about maybe 6 or 7 ties. Okay. That was it. 2 suits, and I was making money. I knew how to alternate those suits, alternate the vest from the other suit to the other suit, change the shirt around. So there's different combinations. Just like you have an NFT, you can make all these different combinations with NFTs. I was doing the same thing with my suits. I would wear the black pants with the charcoal gray jacket, with the white shirt, with the black and gray tie. Then I would alternate that and flip it around. Then I would wear the blue vest with the blue vest with the gray jacket. I just mixing and matching a couple of suits because these suits cost $2 grand a piece, tailored suits, right? So I waited until I got myself in a situation where I felt, for me, that area of my budget needed a little bit more attention. So I redirected some more money towards that budget. Everything is going to be different for everyone else. But people who just frivolously want to go out and buy a whole bunch of purses and cars and outfits to look cool for other people, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. You can still look nice. You can still have decent clothes that you can mix and match, that you can wear here and wear there. I know some people are saying, well, I'm a social media influencer. I got to mix up a lot of stuff. Guess what? They can't really tell what you got on from the camera. A lot of the times you can get away with wearing anything you want. Just go to some store that's a decent price. You don't got to spend the $2,000 shirts and stuff. They can't see the tags in these shirts. These are your work clothes. Okay. And so you got to be more realistic with yourself and what you're spending on. Are you also buying something that's going to depreciate immediately, or is it going to be an asset? Okay. Things like that. So I like that. I like watches, but I buy investment watches. I won't go out and buy Timex. I'm not going to go out and buy, some of these watches that, it could cost $500-$600, even $1,000, but they're not investment watches. I'm going to buy watches that are going to appreciate in value. Like this watch I have on right now. This is a Batman. That's a Batman Rolex. This watch right now has gone from $9,000. Now it's worth $27,000 right now. Right? This is an investment watch. I buy things that are going to have the ability to appreciate. Now I do buy some things that are not going to appreciate. I got to have sneakers. I got to have basketball sneakers. I like sports, like walking. I got to have some exercise clothes and stuff like that. But I don't glutton myself in those areas, because for me, it just doesn't make any sense to blow that. I'd rather have a few nice things that I can throw on, a couple of nice watches that appreciate in value. And I've got cars that have a multifunctional purpose, which I don't pay for anyway. So I'm going to talk about that later as well. Saving regularly. As you save a percentage of each and every paycheck, are you saving a percentage of each and every paycheck? I wrote. And with regular saving, anyone can retire in style. So it's not just saving, it's also investing. That's why the next line I put investing your savings appropriately. Saving is great, but you have to think beyond savings. Are you investing aggressively for retirement? Look at that word I put there, aggressively, right? Aggressively. That's where I'm at. I'm aggressively investing money for retirement. And if you don't start now, no matter what age you are, the younger, the better. I was just telling my son, the longer you're going to have to work, or the more the lack of enjoyment you'll have on your retirement. If you're a person that likes to live a certain level of lifestyle, if you're a person that likes to travel, if you're a person that doesn't like to be waiting for the next check to come so you can buy more food for your refrigerator, then you might want to start investing aggressively now. You know, I was just talking to my son. My youngest son is 22, Justin, and you know, he's doing well for himself. He's prospering and growing and learning as he goes. You know, he got on the stock market 2 years ago when or he got on when he was 19, basically is when he started on the stock market. I got him on the stock market, got him investing in stock options, got him handling his own stock account, and taught him how to grow that money. He makes his own investments now, his own his own options calls. Got him on buying and holding stock and shares. He does his own research on the stocks and shares that he looks for, and he buys them and he holds them, right? He knows when to move them, when not to move them. What else does he do? He also now has NFTs. He's got stock options. You know, so he's making a lot of these kind of decisions based off the knowledge that I'm giving him. Again, this is how your information lives on, how you break generational curses, by passing on the wisdom and passing on the knowledge. You have to invest. You have to invest. Like I told my daughter, your money sat there for 1 year, nothing happened. Not one stinking thing happened. You got to take that money, you got to move it into something for it to happen, right? Now she's doubled her money. And by now, that was a while ago, she's probably made more than that by now. But it's not going to, and because, you know, those two listen to me the most, when I tell them something about an investment, they typically jump on it almost immediately because they're listening. They're listening. Necessary insurance to prevent the necessary insurance to prevent a financial catastrophe. I forgot to put an A there. Okay. A serious illness, fire, or death can derail the best laid plans. Think about that. We all know this. I know that I get a lot of people contacting me all the time because they want me to put up a GoFundMe link for some catastrophe that they had in their family. And I've done it before in the past. I realize that you got to teach a man how to fish so that they can fish for themselves, right? So they can feed their family, they can feed themselves. You can't keep doing all the handout stuff. I mean, I do it sometime, but I can't do it all the time. You got to teach people how to fish for themselves. And so insurance is a huge, huge part of this, which we're going to talk about today. Okay. And especially if you're young, you want to get on it now. You want to get a whole life insurance policy. We'll be touching on that a little bit later today. If people are failing, they look inept. If people are succeeding, they look strong and good and competent. That's the halo effect. Your first impression of a thing sets up your subsequent beliefs. If the company looks inept to you, you may assume everything else they do is also inept. Daniel Kahneman. Okay. Negative and positive money beliefs. It's necessary to recognize which money beliefs are negative and which are positive. Positive beliefs are those that allow you to keep the 8 components necessary for financial health under control. Negative beliefs get in the way of addressing the 8 components. Examples of beliefs that keep you poor. Rich people are greedy. That's a big misnomer. That's a big, big mistake. Rich people are greedy. In actuality, a lot of the times, believe it or not, it's the opposite. It's actually the opposite. And I know because I'm in these circles of people that are pretty wealthy all the time. I know billionaires personally on my cell phone. I can call up a billionaire. He checks on me. I check on him. I know multimillionaires. I'm around people that are wealthy all the time because I want to be in the presence of wealth all the time because that's what I'm attracting. And I will tell you that these people, the majority of them, are some of the most giving people on the planet. I didn't say they were the nicest. I didn't say that they were the most respected. I didn't say that they were the most understanding. I said these people are some of the most giving people on the planet. Some will argue, well, they got to give money away because of taxes. They don't have to give anything away because of tax. There's a million ways to cut taxes. They actually do it because they actually like to do it, and they give a lot. A lot of the programs that are in place for children in a lot of these underprivileged communities, that money, a lot of it comes from rich people donating money. A lot of the activities that go on in a lot of these extracurricular sports like AAU and Junior Olympics, that comes from rich people giving money. I just donated, every year I donate a sum of money to a particular program. I just went this Saturday and dropped off the check. And why do I do it? because I believe in that program. I believe in helping those kids. I coached basketball, and I saw that a lot of the parents didn't have the money for the fees. They couldn't afford the fees. But you know what? They took a leap of faith and brought their kids there anyway, every single day to practice. And some of these kids are the most talented kids in the world in those sports, in that sport, which at that time was basketball, at that age group. And I said, you know what? I got to support this at all costs, no matter what, no matter how big I get. This has to be supported. There's a lot of people out there with money that help a lot of things behind the scenes that never, ever even look for a thank you, never look for appreciation, never look for an article in a newspaper about them. They never even get mentioned in most cases. So the mindset that rich people are greedy, you're basing it on what you've seen on TV and in the movies, and the small number of people that you even think or know that might be wealthy, that might be even wealthy. Because a lot of people you think are wealthy aren't wealthy. They're not rich at all. I don't deserve to be wealthy. Another big problem. Again, going back to your belief system. If you don't think you deserve to be wealthy, guess what? You don't. And wealth doesn't mean you have $100 billion. It means freedom, financial freedom. Are you building a legacy? Are you setting yourself up for retirement? Are you making your life easier so that you can live longer and be more at peace? You're in your relationship. Are you leaving something behind for your children, your grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren? Are you giving them an edge up on everything so that they don't have to start from -0, come up out of the mud every single time? When you die, are you leaving debt to your family, or are you leaving them with prosperity? Okay, that's what it's about, being wealthy. I'll have to do a lot of things I don't like to become wealthy. That's another ridiculous thing that keeps people poor. You're already doing a lot of dumb things. You're already doing a lot of things that waste a lot of time, like sitting in that cubicle all day and making somebody else rich, like punching that clock and doing whatever you do a lot of the times, right? It's not about, doing things, doing a lot of things. It's about how you appropriate your time and the knowledge and wisdom that you appropriate with that time, how you apply it. My friends won't like me if I'm rich. Another thing. Now, if you got people that are you saying are your friends, and then you become a little bit more wealthy than them, or you become richer than them, right? And they're not, and then they're angry at you for that, then guess what? Wake up call. They were never your friends in the first place. Wake up call. Very few people actually have a friend. I'm going to say that again. Very few people actually have a friend. You have acquaintances. You have a lot of acquaintances, but you have very few friends. So if somebody all of a sudden starts turning on you because you're getting wealthy or rich, they were never your friend to begin with. They were just an acquaintance. And acquaintances come and go. All right, just like the weather patterns. Money is the root of all evil. The Bible actually says the love of money is the root of all evil. They always seem to leave that part out. The love of money is the actual quote, is the root of all evil. And that's the biggest reason why a lot of people are afraid of money, because they think that if they want to find out how to make more money, they're going to be considered evil, or they're chasing Satan, the devil, and all this crazy foolishness. Actually, it's all fake. Okay. First of all, heaven and hell is a state of mind. There is no real hell. Heaven and hell is all a state of mind, number one. Number two, money is not the root of all evil. Money is nothing but an energy exchange. Money is something, it's just a piece of paper. I mean, I can make anything money. I mean, right now, this is money, right? This bent up or folded up $20 bill. We think this has value. But guess what? If I'm ice cold and freezing inside of an igloo somewhere, and my heater is broken, I'm going to light that money on fire. Money is just an instrument for an energy exchange. You have to exchange energy with something else or someone else in order to create this instrument. And it's just a link between the two things. So money has nothing to do with being evil. Money has nothing to do with anything except for that it's the result of an energy exchange. Okay? So money is not evil unless you want to use it for evil. You can choose to use it for good or evil. It's up to you. And if your consciousness wants to use it for evil, then it's on you. It's not on the money. Money is just a piece of paper or a digital 0 and 1 that doesn't really even exist at all. We attribute a conscious value to money, and it really doesn't even exist. It's just an archetype inside the matrix, the financial matrix. I can't be spiritual and have a lot of money. That's why I wrote the book. Woke doesn't mean broke, because you actually can. Matter of fact, they both go hand in hand, because, like it says, to whom much is given, much is required. And if you're able to be given, in position to be given or acquire financial literacy, and that generates revenue for you, income for you, prosperity for you, then a lot of is required of you. Okay, you'll have a responsibility. And so that responsibility requires spiritual understanding, so that you're properly guiding yourself, not being guided by some outside entity, but guiding yourself, your own spiritual consciousness, guiding yourself, and to make the right decisions of what to do with that money. Okay? I'm disrespecting my parents if I make more money than they do. Now, that's ridiculous. And I've heard this before, actually, believe it or not. Okay? Where I grew up, people were extremely poor. Poverty wasn't even a good term for what we lived in. It was next level, below that. Okay? Like I tell people, I was underneath the gutter. And there's this mindset that people have that I don't want to embarrass my parents by making more money than them. And it's a real belief. Let me tell you something. By the time I was 12, I was making more money than my parents. Actually, I'm sorry. By the time I was 13, I started my business when I was 12. By the time I was 13, let me correct myself. When I was 13, I started making more money than my parents. Okay? And so you have to understand that what you can do with the money is really based on your spiritual knowledge and the light being in you or the darkness being in you. You can choose then to help your people, or you can choose to abandon them. It's really up to you. Even though I moved out at a very young age, I still sought to look back to help my mother and help my parents, right? As best as I could. So, just out of the kindness of my own heart. But you're supposed to be version 2.0 or 3.0. People tell me all the time, man, your son, man, your youngest son, Justin, man, he's like a 20, but he looks better than you. He's going to be bigger than you. I'm like, he's supposed to be. That's 2.0. Nothing's supposed to stay the same. If it stayed the same, then I failed. Period. So worrying about making more money than your parents is ridiculous. You're supposed to improve. Every generation should get better, not worse, or not stay the same, not stay stagnant. Okay? It's hard to make money, or hard to make a lot of money. It's never hard to make money. There's a million ways to make money. I remember a guy that made $1 million on eBay selling certified Wisconsin cow chips. If you don't know what that is, that's cow poop that's dried in the sun. He gave them a certificate of authenticity, and people bought it like it was water coming out of a faucet. There's people making millions of dollars selling cans of air. I bought some. I bought cans of oxygen because I knew that if anybody got sick, even if it was me, that inhaling this high level of oxygen would help me. I have cans of air in my house that I bought. Cans of air. I shouldn't have more money than I need. Well, there's no such thing. Because there's always a use for the funds. Investing in businesses, investing in other people's businesses, giving other people seed capital so that they can have a chance to experience some of the things that you're experiencing. Freedom. Building a legacy fund for the future generations of down your bloodline. All these things are reasons to have more than you have now. If you focus on having just enough, you won't be prepared for the situations that arise, like global pandemics, real estate collapses. Okay. I remember when the real estate market crashed in 2008. I had made millions of dollars prior to 2008, millions. And it was primarily in internet marketing and my .com marketing group, my marketing company. And I said, okay, I want to move into one area where I can just focus on one thing and sit back and relax. So I moved 90% of my assets into real estate, land and pre-construction, as well as property flips. Now, I did too much at once, and I put all my eggs in one basket. I did not see the real estate collapse coming. We survived for a little while because even though we lost out on the flips and some of the pre-construction. What we did have is a lot of land. What we ended up doing, though, Countrywide was the only company financing the land, and eventually even they got shut down because they had committed some kind of fraud or something, and they were doing bad loans, or they tried to sell the loans or whatever. So Countrywide Bank got shut down by the feds, and then it got bought by, I think it was Bank of America, decided to buy them out or something. So they stopped they took away the product of doing lot loans. So we got stuck with a lot of land. So I was in a situation where I literally had lost almost everything I had, my whole nest egg that I had built up, because I learned, but it taught me a very valuable lesson. I don't like to use the word loss. I use the word learn, the L for learn. I realized you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Luckily for me, that time I had more money than I needed, because when that collapse came, I almost lost everything, but I didn't. I was still able to keep my $1.3 million house. I had 5 cars, but I got rid of 3 of the cars. I only needed 2, right? And my kids still played all their sports, did all their travel, went around the country playing in all their events and everything else. Didn't skip a beat. Now, was I able to do a lot of the traveling? And I had to cut back on some things, but because I had more than I needed, I had a fund set up for myself. I was able to tap into that and keep myself alive and keep my family thriving. And so I learned my lesson. Why? Because prior to that happening, all the way back in, I think it was 1990, I had a situation where I didn't understand that lesson. I didn't get that lesson yet. This was when the lesson just hit me. The first time I had a collapse, I was a marketing rep. I had my own company, and a company I was doing a lot of my marketing for, one of my largest clients, ended up not being able to pay. They had a big situation with ownership, and one of the owners took all the money out of the bank account, fled the country. And I was like, holy crap. I was making like 10 grand a week back in the 90s. That was a lot of money. Right now, that's like making 30 grand a week in comparison. And I was living exactly at my means. I didn't have anything extra, nothing. And guess what happened, guys? I ended up over a 3-month period, ended up losing the house, the car, everything. Ended up sleeping on the beach for a week. On the beach, homeless. I went and got an old hoopty car, slept inside the car at this little tiny rinky-dink motel on A1A off of Biscayne. Okay. And somebody lent me $30 and I changed that into quarters. And then I got on a payphone and I started making cold calls out of the yellow pages and finding more businesses to get more marketing deals from and make myself some appointments, and went out and sold some deals, got some prepayment of some marketing contracts, and got myself back off the street into an apartment. Eventually got a brand new car and moved myself all the way back up the ladder. So that was in my brain when 2008 came. Before it came, I was preparing for something to happen, even though I didn't see it. Now, guess what? After that, I got even stronger. When this whole pandemic thing came, I was 10 times stronger than I was in 2008. I was ready for this thing. Whatever it was, I was ready for it, right? I was ready. And guess what happened? I made more money in 2020 than I ever did in my entire life because I was prepared. And guess what, guys? Now that this pandemic is dying down, there's going to be another thing coming, and it's going to be bigger than the pandemic. Every 5 to 8 years, maybe 10 max, there's another huge thing coming on the horizon that's going to affect the finances globally of the world. You got to be ready for it. You have to be set up and ready for it because it's coming and there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's what it's important for as well. Examples of beliefs that can make you rich. Money results from providing value to the world. What does that mean? Like I say all the time, the first thing you have to do is learn how to live in your passion. Okay? That means find what you're passionate about. I know I'm passionate about marketing, sales, building companies. I'm passionate about that. I love it. Spreading knowledge and information, helping people, writing books, music. Those are my passions. Okay? Now, what did I do? I found that those passions have value. How do my passions have value? Because other people want access to my passions. And so because they want access to my passions, there's a value attached to that passion. So if you have a passion and you find it and you're good at it and you find a need for that passion in the world, And then you fulfill that need with your passion. In other words, you make that transaction happen, you make that deal happen, you connect with the people that need it. The side effect is going to be money in your bank account. This is how you make money. To find a need and fill it. But if you find a need and fill it that's within your passion zone, then you'll never work a day in your life. This is how you do it. So you have to get out a piece of paper. You have to write down everything you're passionate about, everything you like, everything that interests you. Just keep writing them down. After you get the paper full of all these ideas, then you got to make one column on another sheet of paper, and you got to write them and put them in order. Use a pencil so you can erase, or use a notepad on your computer. And you got to put them in order of importance to you. And then you got to break it up again into things that you're passionate about, but you don't know how to do yet. I know I love to do this. I just need to be trained. If I can get trained in this, then I'll be great. You got to break it up like that too. Then you got decisions to make. Which ones do I go after? Which ones do I become really good at? And once I become good at it, how do I find a need for that in the world so that I can actually become the person that provides that need, fulfills it, and the side effect will be money in my account, and I'm going to be happy because I love doing this. So you have to research who needs those passions and how those passions interact with business and commerce. Once you figure that part out, you know where to go when you have the talent. Take your talent. Like LeBron said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach at one time, right? Years ago. You take your talents to the market and figure out who needs it. And then you interact with that, and the side effect is money. Money provides freedom and choice. It's all about freedom. On Valentine's Day, I promised my girlfriend that I was going to take her to Jamaica and have a great Valentine's Day. Why? Because it was also her birthday. Her birthday is on Valentine's Day, and she told me that she had never had a good Valentine's Day. It was always heartbreak, or she was always alone. And because of that, it was like a trauma for her. Valentine's Day was like she didn't look forward to Valentine's Day. I was just bringing it up months before it even came. And so during that conversation, when I realized that, I said, I got to make this the best Valentine's Day she's ever had in her life. So I booked a trip to Jamaica, and I had all these excursions set up. I wanted to make sure it was a very special day. It was a birthday / Valentine's Day. I wanted it to be the absolute best she's ever experienced in her life, right? Because I felt she deserved it. Long story short, we get to the airport an hour ahead of time. We go through everything, and 2 hours ahead of time, I'm sorry. But by the time we get to the baggage and this and everything else, the flight, the JetBlue company, airline, they decided to close the doors an hour early. Why? Nobody can figure it out this day. Nobody, everybody's scratching their head. They literally abandoned us and left us at the airport going through security an hour ahead of schedule, which we didn't get a text message, we didn't get a phone call, we didn't get an email, nothing. We went to the front desk at JetBlue at the Fort Lauderdale airport, and the guy was shocked himself. Even the worker was shocked, and he apologized and tried to find another flight. The next flight he could have possibly gotten us on was the next evening because everything else was sold out. It was Valentine's weekend. I mean, everybody's been booking this for months in advance. I had booked that 6 months in advance. Long story short, everything else would mess up all the special events I had planned for her for that weekend. If we got there the next day at night, we'd miss out on probably 2 or 3 things and then throw the whole thing off. So here's where the freedom comes in. I said, babe, don't worry. She started looking really worried. I said, don't worry. We're going to Jamaica today. She goes, how are we going to go to Jamaica today? I said, we're going to Jamaica today. I got on my phone. I called my driver. I said, get me a private jet. I'm leaving. I need to get to Jamaica today. I need to land today so I can keep my itinerary the same way. No problem, Mr. Carson. Next 2 phone calls. Boom, boom, boom. Hits me back. I got you guys set up. Send a WhatsApp with your passports and your COVID test and everything else, so we can get you lined up. We're just waiting now on approval from Cuba so we can fly over Cuba, or do we got to know if we got to fly around Cuba. Took a few hours. The next thing you know, we go get lunch. Next thing you know, we're getting on a plane, and we're headed to Jamaica on the same day I said we were going to arrive. You know why? Financial freedom. If you're a person that gets to the airport, and if your bag is a little bit overweight and you can't afford the $75 because your bag's overweight and you got to open up your luggage in front of everybody and start switching things around, that means you're not at the level. That means you haven't been preparing your entire life. Financial freedom. When that happened to me, it could have rocked my whole world, destroyed all my plans. I've been planning on this thing for 6 months. Financial freedom allowed me to be able to do that and leverage my credit. Financial literacy. How was I able to do that? Well, because I've been building and working on my credit and building my business credit, my business has a credit line of over $100,000 every single month. So I use my business line of credit to buy the jet. And then because I'm traveling and we actually work together, she's actually the director of operations for Forbidden Knowledge. That means that, guess what, guys? We're talking business and we actually work there. The whole trip is a business write-off. The whole trip is a business write-off. And then what do? I lent myself the money to pay back the card for my life insurance policy. So I paid the card off before the bill was even due by taking a line of money out of my life insurance, my compounded interest savings, and my whole life policy, and paying down the entire flight back to $0 so that it wouldn't affect my company bottom line anyway. And I still get to write off the total amount of that transaction on my taxes. You see how I triple parlayed that? That's a triple parlay off of one thing and my freedom. These are the kind of things you got to understand, okay? Saving money is easy and enjoyable. That's a great belief. Understanding that saving money is easy and enjoyable. You enjoy saving money, not clipping coupons. There's a difference between being frugal and saving money. Clipping coupons and hunting for 5% off on this and $2 off on this thing, that's not saving money. That's lack of abundance mentality. Don't get it confused. Trying to find 25 cents off the next pack of gum and all this kind of crazy stuff, that's actually not smart. That you're telling the universe that you're afraid your abundance is going to run out. But saving money, taking a percentage of income and putting it away and then using that money in an investment fund makes a lot of sense. A budget is easy to create and follow. You actually enjoy creating and following a budget for yourself, okay, and holding yourself accountable to that budget. And I only buy things that I need, okay? That's another one. So you buy things that you need. And if you buy something if you want to buy something that you don't need, you need to make sure you have enough abundance to cover that, all right? The path of least resistance and least trouble is a mental rut already made. It requires troublesome work to undertake the alteration of old beliefs. John Dewey. How to change a belief. Now, there are many ways to address harmful beliefs and replace them with positive. Oftentimes, all that's required is a little attention and an open mind. That's it, guys. An open mind and some attention. Wherever your attention is positioned, that's what grows. That's what grows. Your attention is required, though. Your awareness is required, is really the word I should have used there. For example, I know that after going to Dr. Daniel Amen and getting a SPECT scan of my brain, they noticed a couple of incredible things with my brain. They were very impressed with my frontal lobe activity. And he said, one of the things that he could tell that I have is I have no sense of direction. And how did he know that? Because there's a little dimple right over a spot in my brain that controls navigation, right? That's why I always get lost coming out of elevators and things like that. Crazy. Now, he prescribed a series of things for me to do and supplements to take to help improve that. And it's already started improving itself. Why? I've drawn awareness and attention to that area. I'm aware now of what's causing the problem. And because of that, my awareness and my attention is helping me create change in my own brain in real time. I'm actually reprogramming and rewriting my neurons and rewiring myself in real time every single day. And I'm actually getting better. I suffered from a lack of direction, poor direction for my entire life. And now here I am at the age of 50, going to be 51 soon. And I'm finally able to start understanding what's wrong and making those changes that I need to be able to do to correct the problem. But it's all about the awareness and the attention. When you bring attention to something, it grows. So I brought attention to this weakness. It's becoming better. Same thing in finance. Okay. Many of our beliefs are created during childhood and are never questioned. So it's likely that you have several beliefs about money that are ineffective. You've been programmed to be ineffective in understanding money. You've been programmed to not understand how money really works. And you've been poorly taught about it as well. And you've heard a lot of opinions about it growing up. You've heard a lot of bad advice about it growing up. Like don't use credit. You need to be debt free and things like that. The experts can't agree whether beliefs can be changed in an instant or whether it takes a significant amount of time. But like the old Chinese proverb states, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Like I said, I could have just given up on this whole forgetting where I was going and being lost all the time thing. But I decided, you know what? Today, I'm going to put the effort in starting today to make this change in my own body, in my own brain. Okay? And you can do the same thing right now today in finance. And you've already started because you're on this video. You're watching this workshop right now. How to change a belief, neuro-linguistic programming. That's what we're talking about, neuro-linguistic programming. John Grindler and Richard Bandler developed a neuro-linguistic programming. It's called an NLP in the 1970s. And you're probably familiar with also Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker who made the technology popular. All right. I used to watch Tony Robbins when I was a little kid. I used to watch him come on Sundays. Back we had 4 channels on TV. This guy was on TV from back then, before cable TV even existed. Though there are many facets to NLP, we're most interested in the use of language and perception to change beliefs. For instance, if you imagine something that frightens you, the way you imagine it has an impact. Now that's powerful. If you imagine something that frightens you, the way you imagine it will have an impact on you. The characteristics of a mental image are called submodalities, and these include the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic details of a mental image. So it's all about how you see, envision, and picture things. And a lot of it has to do with how you even speak on it, because making that audible sound literally creates cymatic frequencies that alter reality and actually program your reality tunnel. Steps to take to change a belief with NLP. Identify a belief that you'd like to change. Identify something that you've now, as of today, realized financially is a weakness for you. Consider an old belief that you no longer consider to be true. Notice the submodalities of this once held belief. Think of something you know to be true. Take note of the characteristics for this belief. So think of something that you no longer consider to be true. Think about it and think about how you feel when you once held that belief, and then do the same thing similar for something you know to be true, and take note of the characteristics for that belief. And think of a belief that you like to add. Find the most advantageous counter belief to the belief in step 1 and notice the submodalities. You'll see that will start to reprogram the way you think about yourself, life, the finances, or whatever the issue or problem is. You'll see that you'll start to not only that, change it. You'll reprogram yourself to see things in a whole new way, and you'll be seeing from a higher perspective, a more broader view. You'll be able to analyze those issues and problems and those poor beliefs a lot better and see them for what they truly are. They're actually illusions. The steps to change a belief with NLP. Eliminate the belief in step 1. Take the characteristics you noticed in step 2 and then apply them to the image in step 1. Now alter the submodalities of the belief you'd like to add to match those of the belief in step 4. Now here's the test. How do you feel about the original belief and the new belief? Can you feel a change? You have to feel. Can you feel emotionally? Can you feel a change? If your behavior changes, you know you're on the right track. It's all about the feeling of the change. Why? Because a human being primarily acts a lot on emotion, and emoting creates a frequency of a high frequency or a low frequency. And those high or low frequencies address the law of attraction, which pulls into you whatever frequency you're emitting. So if you're emitting a low frequency and you're believing all these falsehoods about money and finance, and you're not being true to yourself, you're going to keep attracting more and more low frequency problems and issues according to finance that have to do with finance. If you understand the change and you understand the correction needed, and now you start to begin to bring attention to it, and want to work on it, and want to correct it for the better, and change your feeling and emotion about it, you're now at a higher frequency. And now what happens? You start to attract, through a law of attraction, higher frequency, better vibrational things happening to you financially. It's just that simple. The only thing that permits human beings to collaborate with one another is truly an open mind, an open-ended way, is their willingness to have their beliefs modified by new facts. Only openness to evidence and argument will secure a common world for us. Sam Harris. How to change a belief, logic. Okay, so a lot of us, one of the things that's really important that I've seen lacking in the world today is logic. It has kind of been almost brushed aside. Everybody's more in a reactional state because of trauma and drama. They're full all the way up to here with all the trauma and drama, leaving no more space or room for logic. Humans are thinkers, and we can use logic to our advantage. Beliefs are funny things. Though we can be influenced to believe anything, we're ultimately the creators of our own beliefs. We create our own beliefs, ultimately. Ultimately, no matter who's told you this or that or whatever, ultimately, you lock in. You can't see or touch a belief in the real world. No one can give you a belief you don't accept. This is where we fail a lot. So you're born, you're given a name, a race, and a religion, and you spend the rest of your life defending a false identity. Even though you know, as you grow older and you become more wise, that this is something that somebody gave to you, that somebody, gave in terms of they told you, they spoke it to you, they fed you the information, they named you and everything else. But you know that you didn't give this to yourself, but you've accepted it. That's an example. You've accepted all of it. The government, they actually work for us, but we have taken on the concept and idea that we work for them to the point where they can even arrest us and lock us up for not paying them. And they're the employee. We can fire them, but we don't even know how to fire them. We do the same thing with doctors, attorneys. We go to the doctor forces us to do this and take this pill and do that. They don't listen to some of the complaints and issues that we're having from a perspective of trying to understand it from where we are and who we are and what's really affecting us. They just, they tell you what they want you to do. And we just ball up and put our tail between our legs and we go, okay, I'll take these pills and I'll do this, even though you know that these things are not having the right effect on you. When you have to understand that they are the employee, your doctor works for you. If you don't pay the doctor, he or she has no job. You tell them what to do. You tell your attorney what to do and what not to do. They're your advisors. You're there to hear their information and then contemplate it, discern it, research it, and see what's a good decision for you to make. Not they boss you around and tell you what to do. The government bosses you around and tells you what to do. We have to realize that we have our own sovereignty. We have our own control. We have power over our lives. And it should be the opposite way around. That's the mindset we have to take on. We got to flip that switch and stop becoming the person that's being bossed around and told what to do and become the boss, and understand that we have to take sovereignty and power and we have to become the presidents of our own lives. Stop looking for presidents out there and politicians to help you out and deities to come and save you. You got to come and save yourself. Okay. Use the power of logic to shake the foundation of your harmful beliefs. Logic. Like the Vulcans from Star Trek, live long and prosper, right? Logic is what you have to start focusing on. We have to get out of always the reactive state and start applying logic. Whether it goes against our belief system or not, let's apply logic and then research that logic and see where it leads us. That's when you start to begin to change your belief systems. The steps to change a belief with logic. Choose a belief that you'd like to change. Where did this belief come from? Who gave it to you? Who taught you this information, right? Knowing the origin can help change the belief. Is the source an expert? You need to know this. Are they an expert? Be honest. If somebody taught you, some religion, are they the expert on this? What are their credentials on this? If somebody taught you some kind of science. What is their credentials on that? Where did they get their degree, or what did they study if they don't have a degree? What makes them an expert on this topic? Dig deep now and be honest. Are they an expert, or are they just regurgitating information that they heard from somewhere? That's important to understand. There's a lot of people just regurgitating information generation to generation. They aren't an expert on anything. They're just giving you information because somebody else told it to them. And now they're repeating it. And a lot of times they're repeating it very poorly. In reality, only a person that's had a lot of money would have the experience to make such a statement. You have to understand, if you're looking for financial wisdom, you're looking for financial advice, and you're getting it from a poor person or a person that hasn't obtained any financial means or done well in anything, then it's highly likely that they could be leading you down the wrong path. Not always, but likely. Not that you don't listen to them, but you have to use logic to discern them. Now, you want to get advice from people that have done a little something in their lives, that have shown some progress, that's shown that they've been able to achieve a certain level. Most likely, not in all cases, but in most cases, they've probably got something decent to impart onto you that you can actually analyze and apply logic to. What is another possible explanation? Maybe your current belief is just one possible explanation. Okay? Different perspectives. Realize that we form many beliefs in childhood that fail to uphold examination. And that is why the world is in a state of mind control that it is in right now. Because we literally, have formed beliefs that we never examined. We never did any research on them. We never dug deep into the information. The government gave it to us, the school gave it to us, and we ran away. Our parents gave it to us, and we ran away with it with no deeper investigation into it other than a surface look. Can you see that any other interpretations could also be the truth? Find an interpretation that makes sense, but also works for you rather than against you. So you find different perspectives and see if those perspectives still lead to ultimate same outcome. Okay. And look for something that's going to benefit you, not hurt you. When it comes to controlling human beings, there is no better instrument than lies, because you see, human lives by beliefs, and beliefs can be manipulated. The power to manipulate beliefs is the only thing that counts. Michael Ende. How to change a belief. Cost-benefit analysis. That's how you do it. Cost-benefit analysis. You've undoubtedly made lists in the past with the pluses and minuses of your available options. Why don't you do the same with your beliefs? You have to write this stuff down, guys. I keep telling you, I'm always writing something down or texting something or making voice notes to myself so I can figure something out. I don't just glance over with my brain for a quick second and just move on. If you realize what a particular belief is costing you, you'll have greater motivation to address it. It's also important to realize that you gain from beliefs that seem to be holding you back. Analyze the cost and benefit of your challenging money beliefs. You have to analyze them. I know a lot of people, for example, Christians, get caught up with the fact that in according to one of the biblical texts in the New Testament, Jesus went to the temple and he saw people selling products and goods, and he got pissed off and he turned over all the money changers' tables. That has been taught so hard in churches that people believe, who are Christians, believe that having money or doing business or commerce is a bad thing because of that incident in the Bible. They'd use it as a way to deter you from becoming a businessman or a businesswoman or having financial success or selling anything to your fellow parishioners or people that follow you or know you. It's a mind job they've done on you, right? They've done an absolute mind job on you for generations. It keeps getting passed down, and people start believing, oh man, it's not good to have money. It's not good to sell things. That's actually incorrect. This whole planet for humans is based on trade and barter and trade. Without that, nothing would happen. You wouldn't even have a computer or TV to watch this live video on. Steps to change a belief with cost-benefit analysis. Choose the belief you wish to change. Consider the belief, I'll never make $100,000 per year, for example, right? What is this belief costing you? If you believe you'll never make $100,000 a year, you'll probably never make it. So if you're only making 40, it's costing you $60,000 because you don't believe it. That would be the difference of the money. 100,000 minus 40,000 that you are making is 60,000. It's costing you 60. That belief costs you 60K a year. For example, how is this belief unreasonable? Few things in life are 100% true all of the time. And how is this belief also ridiculous? Okay, you have to analyze that. It's a ridiculous belief because, well, if I'm believing that I can't make 100,000, I'm already making 40. It's maybe just a few adjustments in my life and my budget that can put me in a position to increase my income. I can end up making more than 100,000. Why would I want to cap myself and think that that's all I can make? That's ridiculous. You know what? I don't know why I thought like that. That doesn't make any sense. Erase that belief out of your system. Analyze it, understand it, and admit you were wrong and move on. What do I gain by holding this belief? Okay. You gain nothing by holding that belief. What would I gain by adopting a more helpful belief? If I start investing some money, if I start creating a budget and watching how I utilize my money, where I'm putting money into assets and investments better, what I'm saving better. All right. Stop buying depreciating things that depreciate fast. And then all of a sudden, maybe I invest some of the money I was spending on something frivolous and invest it into a small business and get more tax breaks from working out of my house. All of a sudden, I'm right at the $100,000 range, just like that. Create an affirmation. State your new belief in a positive, present way. I can earn $100,000 per year. Speak it out loud. Put it on sticky notes and put it around your house. Okay? If that's what you want, if that's your number, whatever your number is. Beliefs have the power to create and the power to destroy. We know this for a fact by looking at history books. Human beings have the awesome ability to take any experience of their lives and create a meaning that disempowers them or one that literally saves their lives. Tony Robbins. We literally are the saviors that we've been waiting for. Okay? Take a quick water break here. Simple action plan. Determine the part of your life, of your financial life, that's causing the most grief. Suppose that you have no retirement and savings. Okay. Make a list of the beliefs that are having the greatest negative impact. Which beliefs are hurting you the most, basically. Address them one at a time. Pick the belief that you think is creating the biggest obstacle. Apply one of the techniques to eliminate it and create a new, more positive belief. This is a step-by-step. I'm walking you through the step-by-step process to reprogram your mind when it comes to understanding and thinking about finances and money for your personal self, okay? A simple action plan. Just this second part I wrote. Keep going until your behavior matches your wishes, until you see a behavioral change. In other words, until your actions start displaying what you've been focusing and working and bringing your attention to. It's possible to feel better but not take action. Keep that in mind. Keep going until you're taking real action. You can feel better about, now I'm aware of this, and then do nothing. Sit back and kick your feet up and watch the world burn. You can do that all day long. It's up to you. It's a free will universe. Or you can begin to make actionable steps to create a better financial future for yourself. Continue addressing all of your beliefs that don't support your financial future. And this is going to take time, but it's going to be time well spent. Okay? Continue to address them. Continue. It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process that you go through, until you can literally get to a point where you are fully converted into a whole new belief system. When something comes up to challenge that, the first thing you do is you want to analyze it, research it, and see if it's going to help you or hurt you, and how much is it going to cost you, like we just talked about. That's why I break things down. What is this going to cost me? Is this going to take away? Is this going to rob money out of my great-great-grandchildren's mouth, what I'm getting ready to do right now? That's what I think, because I'm building a legacy. We learn our belief systems as very little children, and then we move through life creating experiences to match our beliefs. Think about that. Let me read that to you again. This is a powerful statement, guys. We learn our belief systems as very little children, and then we move through life creating experiences to match our beliefs. We literally project our own reality and create our own reality surrounding the belief system. Look back in your own life and notice how often you've gone through the same experience. And you'll see time and time again You've created your own reality based off of a belief that you had. You've limited yourself to things because of beliefs. You've put yourself in relationships because of beliefs. You've followed different spiritual paths or religious paths because of beliefs. Analyze it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Conclusion in this part of the talk: faulty beliefs inhibit your ability to address your finances successfully. These beliefs alter your perception, behavior, and ultimately your financial future. It's important to determine these beliefs and evaluate them. Consider how these beliefs negatively impact your financial future. Changing your money beliefs can be accomplished by a variety of methods. Finding the optimal method is better than trial and error. Give yourself financial therapy. Change your money beliefs and change your life. Okay. So I hope that this part of the workshop helped you out a lot. I hope that a lot of you were able to understand the concepts that I'm bringing forward here. It's all about reprogramming. This is the workshop base level. We're going to go over some more stuff today, but I want you to understand that before I can get you into higher levels of navigating the financial matrix, the first thing we got to do, we got to teach you how to reprogram yourself. I can't reprogram you. I can't. If you understood what I just said just one slide ago, information can be presented to you. It's up to you whether you accept it or not. I cannot reprogram you. Nobody actually programs you. The government doesn't program you. The TV programming doesn't really program you. Your parents don't really program you. It's what you accept into your avatar and your consciousness that programs you. What you actually accept. A lot of the times we're unaware that we're accepting these programs, but we're accepting them and we're downloading them and installing them into our hard drives and into our software. So we have to understand that what I'm presenting to you today is giving you the awareness that you can bring to understanding when you're being programmed and where you have in the past been programmed, so that you can rewrite that software code, because we're all operating on code. That's literally what it is. It's all code. And I'm not being funny. I'm not making any kind of pseudoscientific statement. We know that the entire avatar body system is running off of code, the code that's encoded into your genome and your DNA. That's what controls the majority of the moves and decisions that we actually make, right? So we have to begin to recode and reprogram ourselves. Scientists did a study. They said if a person writes down 10 affirmations a day, writes down 10 affirmations on a piece of paper and speaks them out loud 3 times a day, speaks them out loud so you can actually hear it 3 times a day for 21 days, they found that the DNA in that person's body begins to rewrite itself. The code changes. The way that they feel about themselves and perceive themselves actually changes as well. So when you hear me say that, it's not some pseudo stuff, all right? So let me stop sharing my screen for 1 second. Come out of this one. And we're going to move into another one here, okay? Again, guys, thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate this. Thanks for coming on this talk today. Just going to continue to move on through this because we're running out of time. There's so much stuff I want to say, and with not enough time to say it, but we're going to get through some more of this today, okay? Let's go in here. One of the things I want to touch on today, which I think is really important, and you may have heard me speak on it before, but it's really highly, highly important, is life insurance policies. Now, a couple of reasons. One is, when my parents passed away, I got $0. Not that I was looking for any money, but I was actually not looking for anything, because I had been programmed to think that in my family, the way we were set up financially, there was never going to be anything for me anyway. So it wasn't like I was looking for anything. But I noticed a trend with all of my friends, parents that began to die, and friends of mine that died, and friends of family and friends of friends, that they would, back in the day before GoFundMe existed, you see them on the street corners with signs and T-shirts, trying to sell T-shirts to make money to pay for the casket. And then now in GoFundMe era and internet and social media, it's like, put this link up. We got to get donations to bury so-and-so. They left, cover the debt of so-and-so. And I'm like, wow, there's been no training or programming on how to set up yourself properly to leave in case something happens to you and you're gone, how to take care of your kids or your family members or your loved ones, whoever you leave behind. I saw an importance in that. Not only did I see an importance in it, fortunately for me, I started my own life insurance policy, and I had one just in case something happens to me, that my kids and my family can be taken care of in case something happens. Because like I said before, we don't know how much sand is at the top of that hourglass. All we know about is we can see the sand flowing through the middle piece in that tiny little bottleneck, and the sand at the bottom is the past. We can't go into the past, right? We're living in a moment of now, which is right here. We don't know how much sand is above. We just don't know. I was able to understand that at an early age. And so I have life insurance policies, plural. And so if something happens to me, each one of my kids, I'm thinking there's 5 kids, but each one gets $1.5 million, right? And, but not only that, as long as I'm alive, if I need money, I can get money out of my own life insurance policy. If I want to buy an investment property, if I want to give myself a loan, like I gave myself a loan for a vacation, if I want to buy a car, if I want to invest money into crypto or any other investment that I want to make, if I move money out of that policy into another investment, there's no taxes on it. There's 0 tax dollars, you see? And if I want to loan myself money, I don't have to apply for credit to myself to give myself a loan. I can loan myself the money and pay myself back to my own policy. So life insurance is very important, but not just any life insurance, not term life, for example. Term life is like car insurance. You keep paying it. And guess what? You can never get money out. Car insurance, you can pay it. And if you never get in an accident, they don't give you any of that money back. You never get the money back. It's lost forever, no matter how good of a driver you are. So I realized the importance of whole life. Whole life insurance is the way to go. And it's important because unlike a bank loan or credit card, policy loans do not affect your credit, and therefore there's no approval process. Okay. So I knew that I can put money into a whole life policy, which is actually a compound interest savings account. The money compounds in there faster than it would in a regular savings account. And then I can get access to draw on that money if I needed to, and there's ways to do it tax-free. And if something happens to me, my family is still taken care of. It was a win-win-win all the way around, okay? When you borrow on your own policy, no explanation is required. I don't have to fill out an application or say why I need this money. I just call them up and say, hey, send me a check, man. I need $40K right quick. And the money's, boom, it's right there, okay? And it can be used for anything from bills to vacation expenses to financial emergencies, whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your money. That's why whole life insurance policies are very, very important. The younger you are, the cheaper they are. Now, a term life policy is extremely cheap. I mean, really super cheap. You can get them for peanuts in some cases. A whole life policy is going to cost more money, but the younger you are, still, the cheaper it is. Okay, keep that in mind. If you don't have one, you need to get one immediately. Just go. I don't have anybody to recommend to you. Just go on Google and look for whole life policy. Okay, look for whole life policies and look for an agent. Mine is Mutual. I use Mutual. That's who my agent is, right? But look for a whole life policy. You do your research and due diligence on them. Make sure they've been around for a very long time. Mutual has been around for a very long time. I think 100 years or some crazy number. Okay, look for one of those kind of companies and then create a whole life policy because you're going to need it, because it's going to give you the capability of accessing money while you're still alive and lending yourself money, and the money compounds with interest. The loan is also not recognized by the IRS. If you loan yourself money from your own policy, the IRS does not recognize it as income. Therefore, it remains free from taxes. This is what the rich people do, guys. However, it's still expected that the policy loan will be paid back with interest. So there's a very tiny amount, a very small, minute amount of interest you pay the loan back at, or you just pay it all back at once and wipe it out, okay? So paying back the loan, even with low interest rates and a flexible payback schedule, it's important for the loan to be paid back in a timely manner. I want to make sure you understand that. You got to give the money back. You don't want to leave the money out there. You're going to destroy your policy. You got to put the money back in a timely fashion, but you still have a lot more leeway than you can do with a credit card, okay? In the event of a policy lapse, taxes must be paid on the cash value. So if your policy lapses, in other words, you don't make your payments to your policy, then you'll have to pay taxes on the cash value. This is why it's important to pay back your policy. Okay, if you take money out, usually if you take money out, a lot of the times it's because you know you're going to be able to put it back, or you're going to invest in something that's going to help you put it back as well. Okay. Let's look at Jim Harbaugh and how he leveraged a whole life policy for his paycheck. Okay. Jim Harbaugh has a coaching contract which shows the value of life insurance. He literally gets paid to his policy. His normal salary of $2 million is what he'll get. Okay. And that's $14 million paid into a cash value life insurance policy over the course of his contract, with a death benefit of between $30 million and $75 million. The cash value in that account will gain compounded interest every year until his retirement. It's estimated that at retirement, he'll be able to take out $2.2 million every year for the rest of his life. And if he stays retired for 30 years, that's $66 million. That's 100% tax-free money. That's why he's the highest paid coach in the NCAA, because he's paying his money right into a double compound interest whole life policy. Okay, that's this guy, Jim Harbaugh. Check it out, Michigan football, University of Michigan. Highest paid coach in the NCAA. Why? Because of one smart thing. Dump my money into my whole life policy, and I'll access it from there. You see what I mean? I'm going to stop sharing my screen there, and I'm going to go back and pull up something else for you guys. Let me get back in here. One more before we begin to wrap it up. I'm going to move on to another sheet I got open. And where's that thing at here? Okay, like that one. Hold on, guys and gals. Okay, here we go. Got it. Let me open it up. You guys can see my desktop. I always have a million windows open at once. Oh my goodness. I think I got 50 or 60 windows open. Okay, we're going to go over this today, and then we'll be wrapping up, and we'll have another class set and scheduled for part 2. Okay, we're going to talk about tax secrets today. All right, let me start this presentation. Little known tax secrets for the unemployed. Now, it's important for you to become self-employed, and create your own corporation. It's a very, very important thing. Even if you have a job, even if you already have a job that you love and you go to and you want to go there, you need to set up a corporation, okay? Because you're going to get a lot of deductions, and you're going to get more money back on your taxes, and you're going to be able to do more things and save and invest more money without having to go and do all kind of other crazy stuff on the side. Get 2 and 3 more jobs, for example. Okay, so you're going to get a treasure trove of deductions. Self-employment brings you many tax deductions that you can't get otherwise. You can start deducting a portion of your mortgage payment, home expenses, car expenses, travel, entertainment, computers and software, cell phone, and much, much more. Okay. For example, let's look at a couple of these. If you're able to file a corporation, an LLC or a S corp, okay, either one of the two, because those have great tax advantages, an S corp or an LLC, then you'll base it at your home address. It'll be a home business. Okay, so you when you register the corporation, register it to your home address. All right, doesn't mean people are going to come work for you or work at your house. It means you're running the business out of your house, and because of that, now you can write off a percentage of your monthly mortgage payment. You just reduced your mortgage. Okay, your mortgage payment just went down. You're going to get credit for that at the end of the year. Another thing is your home expenses, your light bill, your internet bill. Right, you're using it for business too. Guess what? You get a percentage of your utility bills off. Now you just saved money on electric, water, gas, all this stuff, right? Your internet fees, your TV bill, it's all going down now. Because why? You have a corporation at home. Travel expenses. Every time you travel, just mention your company one time to somebody. Talk about business one time. It's a write-off. Entertainment. You got to take companies out. You got to take clients out to eat. Okay, you gotta go have dinners. You're gonna go to places for a movie or a play or whatever. Hey, right off your entertainment. Computers and software. You got to have technology these days, right, to operate your business. I got this podcast mic. I got this nice laptop and this 4K camera and all this other stuff around me. Write this stuff off. Cell phone. I use my cell phone for business. Primarily, it's used for business. Matter of fact, the cell phone is in my company's name. It's not even my personal name, and much more. Another thing that's important while I'm on this topic is don't put anything in your name. When you start a business, change everything out of your name. My cell phone is in my business name. My electric bill is in my business name. My gas bill is in my business name. My water bill is in my business name. My trash bill is in my business name. My internet bill is in my business name. Everything's in the company name, and everything writes off. You submit those bills into your business taxes, okay? You've just literally slashed a huge portion of your monthly bills by doing it that way. Don't put anything in your name, okay? What does it take to become self-employed? All of the benefits and deductions can be great. Go in with your eyes open, okay? I'm gonna be realistic. Now, if you're gonna work for yourself, you're gonna be doing long hours with little money in the beginning. It's gonna be a one-man show a lot of times, right? I remember when I first started selling my books, version 1 of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, I had the books printed, I had them delivered to my house, and I was literally sitting there downloading the orders off the website and printing out the labels on my home printer and stamping the padded envelopes myself, filling up these buckets full of books and taking them to the post office and dropping them off at the post office every single day. It was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. But in the beginning, I knew I was getting big, but I wasn't big enough to hire somebody to do it yet. I had to do it myself. Otherwise, I'm going to eat the whole profit away. I had to start from the ground up. You got to understand that if you're gonna actually operate the business, you're gonna have to put some work and time in. If you're gonna just stay home and work full time or part time, even, you'll have to put some energy in. Okay, and there will be some stressful times. Okay, businesses are up and down. You have to understand that. Overall, I think it's a much better benefit. But I want to make sure you're clear and you clearly understand everything that's entailed. So I'm not going to paint you an illusion. I'm going to give you the facts, like I always do. Minimizing burden is important. Useful online services and software can save you time and money and make establishing your business easier. Plus, you get a tax deduction for their costs, okay? Like using QuickBooks, for example, using email marketing software, using Facebook ads, hiring a content graphics designer, like Design Pickle or Epic or one of those to create your memes and your content online. You got to pay them a fee every month, right? But all those things that you're paying for are all tax deductions when it comes time to your taxes. Minimizing the burden. QuickBooks, it's an accounting software, email marketing, Facebook advertising, Google ads, YouTube ads, graphic designers, webmaster, all the things that you need to run and run your business are all those payment, if there's an attorney involved, business attorney, whatever. They're all tax write-offs, every single one of them, okay? Deductions for the self-employed. A lot of people don't even know this. Tax deductions are available to self-employed individuals to offset tax requirements substantially. Really, the way the tax laws are written, it's really written in the favor of the very small business person, which is why I like having small businesses. You can deduct the money you spend on advertising your business as well as any business-related materials that you purchase. That's pens, paper, printers, envelopes, whatever it is, whatever you could think of, whatever it is, whatever you're buying, you're going to be able to get deductions. There are a significant number of additional tax deductions designed specifically for you if you're self-employed, okay? Home office expenses, for example. You can take deductions for your home office space as long as that space is specifically designated for business use. So I'm sitting in my home office right now. This is a pretty big office, actually. It's like, I don't know, it's about close to 600 or 700 square feet, all right? Okay, so it's pretty decent size for a home office. But that's great for me, too, because it's based sometimes even on the size. Now, measure the square footage of your office and compare it to the rest of your home. If your office is 10% of your home, for example, you can write off 10% of your rent or mortgage payment. Imagine getting 10% off of your rent or your mortgage every month, right? So I know that the average rent payment, for example, or mortgage payment is about $2,500. It's the average number. Yours may be more, yours may be less. Okay. So 10% of that is $250. So that means that your rent goes down from $2,500 to $2,250, for example, right? So that's a huge amount off, because now you can take that extra $250 or that 10% of whatever it is, and you can actually invest that money into something that will compound. You can dump it into your whole life policy and let it compound there, or you can put it into a mutual fund, or you can put the money and invest it back into the business. Okay. Measure the square. So also, you can also write off the same percentage of your utilities, major repairs that affect your office space, like a new roof, services for your home, like security or pest control. I have cameras everywhere. I have a pest control company. I have all these things. All that can be written off on my taxes. Home office expenses. Okay. Rent or mortgage, electricity, home repairs, home services. Deduct a business portion from each. Imagine getting a percentage, 10, 15% off of every single one of these areas of your bills. You just literally drop your expenses by a high amount in the course of 12 months. Home, furniture, and equipment. You can take deductions on your home office furniture and your equipment designed to use for your business. Your desks, this chair I'm sitting in, other furniture like my bookshelf, computers and monitors, laptops, printers, fax machines, and software. Even software you've downloaded to your computer for your business are all tax deductions. Phone expenses. Take a tax deduction on your phone expenses. You must have a separate business line from your home line, okay, which I do. Magic Jack costs $40 initially, and recurring costs are approximately $19 a month after that, for example. VoIP phone solutions like Magic Jack are cost-effective, but require that you connect them to your computer for phone reception. Just trying to show you different ways you can get a separate phone line if you don't want to go through the phone company. But either way, whatever it is, you can write it off. Business cell phones are also deductible, guys. Business cell phones, deductible. A lot of people are running small businesses and never even file for that. Your internet expenses. Okay, you may not be able to deduct your entire home internet bill, but you can deduct a portion of your internet bill. Deduct the amount from your internet bill according to what percentage of time you're using the internet for business. If you're working 8, 10, 15 hours a day, your accountant will be able to give you that percentage number. And based on that time frame that you're working on the internet, that'll be the amount they're deducting off your bill. My internet bill is about $100 a month because I have the highest speed. And by the time it's all said and done, I'm paying about $68 a month. That's a huge drop. That's huge. That's a lot more money I can use to invest into something. Your child's allowance. Pay your children for keeping the home office tidy. Pay them. Pay your children. Even a small child can dust a desk or a computer. It encourages responsibility in your children, and you get a tax deduction when you pay them. You get tax deductions when you pay your kids. I used to pay my kids all the time, and guess what? I used to write that money off on all my taxes. Yes, you heard me right. You can pay your kids. Your kid, they could be little tiny kids. Just keep a record, an accurate record of it, and you can write off that money on your taxes. Let older children help you keep your files, papers, receipts organized. They can even enter your daily income and expenses into your bookkeeping software if you'd like, if you trust them enough for that. And if your child is under the age of 17, you can employ them without paying Social Security wages. You can actually make them a W-2 employee with no Social Security wages if you're under the age of 17. Okay? Guys, these are all the tricks that they use. These are all the loopholes that they have out here that you don't even know exist. I had 5 kids, and all 5 of my kids helped me save a lot of money. A lot of money. I would pay my kids based on the help that they gave me and what they got on their report cards, and then write it all off. Travel expenses. You know, I like to travel. I travel a lot. I'm always on a plane. I just landed yesterday and I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow. When you travel beyond your city and the purpose is business related, your expenses can be deducted can be tax deductible in many cases. Plane tickets and other transportation expenses, some of your meal expenses, lodging expenses, and some entertainment expenses. Okay. So I travel out of my city all the time. Okay. I leave my city a lot. I have a driver in most cases when I go out to do business, because it just makes sense to me now to continue to sit back in my car and work, focus on business ideas, making phone calls, other than focusing on the road and trying to keep myself alive. So I have a driver, but guess what? It's I write off all the money I pay to the driver. I write that money off. Okay. When I'm traveling abroad and I'm using all these Ubers to take me around from place to place, that all goes on my tax write-offs, all of it. All these hotels, all these airplane tickets, all this stuff is a tax write-off, all of it. Travel expenses, lodging, transportation, meals, and entertainment. 50%, I get 50% off. It's cheaper to be my own boss to eat. The reason why I like eating out a lot is because my cost for eating out after my deductions is way less, and I'm talking about gourmet 5-star restaurants, is way less than somebody going to the grocery store and buying food and cooking at home every night. That's why 90% of my meals are cooked out meals, restaurant meals, at gourmet restaurants. And it costs me less. It costs me less to eat out because of my own boss, because I have a corporation, a home business. Okay. Deductible travel expenses, transportation expenses, airfare, train tickets, bus tickets, rental vehicles, gasoline expenses. You can write off all that off. You get, my gap, because I have a corporate. If you are a 9-to-5 employee and you're punching a time clock and you have to drive an hour to work up and back every single day, and your gas is now $5-6 a gallon, wherever it is where you live, you don't get any of that money back. You just took a pay cut. Me, yeah, it's costing me a little bit more in gas, but I'm writing more money off on taxes for gas. You understand? Because I have a business, I'm getting that deduction. So even say you have a business and you're not really running the business per se. In other words, you don't really have enough clientele or whatever you're selling to make it to a full-time job, but you have the business. Well, write off your gas expenses, transportation expenses. Keep in mind that you should only spend what you can afford, because you're still footing the bill. That's important to understand. Post office trips to buy supplies, trips to meet clients, and some maintenance costs, like some of your repairs on the vehicle and so forth, like tires and so forth, brakes, right? Oil changes, things like that. Lodging expenses. The biggest deduction for lodging at a hotel is the lodging cost is the hotel, which is tax deductible. That's why I always stay in the best hotels. I'm not going to travel somewhere on business and stay in a dump. I'm not going to stay in a Roach Motel. Why? When I'm going to stay in a 5-star hotel and I'm going to write it off on my taxes, and it'll end up being in the end the same price it would have been to stay in a Roach Motel. Hotel visits are deductible if you're staying alone without your family. If your family travels with you, your lodging doesn't qualify as a business expense. So typically what I'll do if my family travels with me somewhere, I would get them a separate room. If the hotel charges a fee for wireless internet access, your Wi-Fi connection charges are also tax deductible. You know that $14.95 you got to spend to get the high speed at the hotel? You can write it off on your taxes. Meals and entertainment and expenses. 50% of entertainment and meal expenses are tax deductible. Business meals and meals with clients are tax deductible. Entertainment costs, such as trips to the opera with your client or taking business associates golfing, can also be tax deductible. This August, I'm taking my team, my Forbidden Knowledge team, I'm taking them on a trip to the Bahamas. We're going to have our business meeting